By the power of Grayskull. Right? How you doing? I can sit down. Mate, everyone can sit down. What if you haven't got an ass? The questions that no one asks. And the question that no one asked me today, how is Google Stadia? Long story short, it's pretty good. But no, I spoke a little bit in a video yesterday about why I like GeForce Now. And that's a streaming service, a game streaming service, if anyone isn't entirely clued up. And I mentioned Google Stadia. GeForce Now allows you to play games from other platforms that you own, PC platforms, the Steam store, Epic, Uplay, and the only other thing really available to me right now in the UK, game streaming wise, is Google Stadia. And the main difference between Google Stadia and GeForce Now is that you buy games from Google on the Stadia store rather than playing things you already own. Google Stadia also has a cool little control pad. I mean, technically GeForce Now has a cool control pad. Where have all these pads gone? Hang on. Right. Control pad technically for GeForce Now. This is an NVIDIA Shield TV, NVIDIA Shield controller. It's kind of based on the same layout as an Xbox pad, which I'm not going to get up and go and find. Most people know what an Xbox pad looks like. This is just more pointy, and buttons are here. Okay? The start and select, or whatever people call it on whatever platform they're using, because apparently start and select are too complicated. Now we have share and back and start and what if, I don't know. It's the control pad that you can get for your NVIDIA Shield TV, which is what I sometimes play GeForce Now on. I mean, I often just launch it on my PC, but, the control pad. Google made their own control pad. This is the Stadia control pad in the wasabi color, which means that I didn't get this free with a Stadia kit. I actually bought this. So, just so you know, I quite like Stadia. I like all streaming services for games. I think they're actually pretty neat and have done for years. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, I've been using game streaming services for years when they've been made available to me. I started with OnLive back in 2011, 2012, whenever that was. Got many of their OnLive consoles, subscribed to their service, played on it quite regularly. Shamefully though, it went under. It was a good service, and at the time, even though we lived in the city, we didn't have a fantastic internet connection. I mean, we had a good internet connection for the country at the time, but my connection was never stable. And the thing with game streaming services, you kind of need a stable internet connection to get these things to work. But it was still good enough. Had a subscription service, access to 100 games if you pay £7 a month, you get access to 100 games that add more over time. Play your games, just log in. It was a great taste of what was to come because you didn't have to have a gaming PC to play games. You could launch an app or use their little console or do it on your PC through an app or whatever. If you had a Mac, you could play games that weren't designed for Mac because you could stream. It was fantastic. I think it came out around the same time as the Raspberry Pi. But I thought OnLive was pretty good. Gaikai, another fantastic streaming service that proved that the latency didn't have to be huge and that games would play pretty well if you were streaming. It was my first try when I played on Gaikai. I think I first tried Dead Island. Worked great. Felt like a one-to-one experience. And that was on my janky internet connection. So, when Google said they were going to release a streaming platform, I didn't instantly go, like most other people, that's going to suck. I was like, oh, that's going to be interesting. And this one's a bit different in that this one, the control pad, is neat because it connects to Wi-Fi. You connect your pad up to the Wi-Fi. Actually, let me grab my pad. This is the wife's pad. There you go, got it. So I own multiple Stadia pads, so like it. But yeah, you connect up to Wi-Fi. This communicates directly with the Google servers. You can also wire it in with USB-C. Fantastic. Or play games on your Google Chromecast Ultra through Stadia. However, it doesn't support the current generation Chromecast with Google TV. The app should be coming. It just ain't here yet. This is a pretty good service. And I know loads of people go, well, why would you use that when you could use anything else? Well, as I say, with OnLive, and like I said with GeForce Now, the idea being that you can play on anything that can realistically decode a video stream. You don't have to be on a game's native platform to play a game. You can be on your phone. You can be on a Windows PC. You can be on a Mac. You can be on a cheese sandwich. As long as you can decode that video, that's it. It's fantastic. You know, a Chromebook can play games with Google Stadia. A Chromebook can play games with GeForce Now. A Linux machine can play more games than it generally could before. Although Valve then came up with Proton, Steam Play, and all that kind of stuff, and that works great too. But if you haven't got great hardware, it's a nice little entry, isn't it? It's a nice little gateway into playing AAA games. And even if you have got a beefy PC, because let's throw that out there. Okay, hang on. Let's go to my desktop again. Right, I've got. Give me 1 second. I've got my system specs over here. Let me drag them over so you can see. Right, not everyone using Google Stadia and GeForce Now is running a skank PC. This is not. I wouldn't say this is a skank PC by any stretch. This is my main PC, Doomslayer. I get it. It says Manjaro. This is Linux. But I do also switch. I'm not opposed to switching to Windows if I want to play a game that doesn't run. So there you go. That's no slouch PC. Not everyone using Stadia is running on lame hardware. You should still give this. A go. So I'm gonna just take you to Stadia in the browser. It's neat. Now, don't get me wrong, I have used Stadia on a janky machine before. I have streamed the entirety of Final Fantasy 15 from Stadia. I was playing it on an ancient Dell server, no, Dell workstation. It was an old school Xeon, didn't even have USB 3 ports on it. Like, that's how old it is. We're talking probably around the generation of the i5 2500, i7 2600 times, really like pretty old. We're talking, was that Sandy Bridge? Old machine, right? Played through the entirety of Final Fantasy 15 and streamed it on that rig through the web browser. So back to the desktop, to the web browser. All you've got to do, if you have a Google account, is to go to stadia.com. It's not hard. Stadia.com. And straight away, this will show you my stuff. If you're on a phone, download the Stadia app. If you've got an Android TV, you can either sideload the app or I guess Google will officially support it at some point, hopefully. You can choose to subscribe to Stadia for about £8 a month. That'll give you access to Pro stuff. Every month they give you games through Pro. In America right now, people who have subscribed to Ubisoft Connect, which is a Ubisoft subscription thing where they basically just give you their games for that subscription. As long as you're subscribed, you can play the games. They have allowed you to link that to Stadia in America, and you can play, because a lot of the games on Stadia are Ubisoft titles. You can play you can stream all your games on the here. So let's click the store tab. I've noticed I'm probably not actually capturing my cursor, so apologies for that. But you know, they've got the interface here is absolutely atrocious. I'm not going to lie, it's pretty crap. Let's have a look. Let's pair up a control pad. So what it does is you click this little control pad icon at the top, and it will give you a pairing code. So I'll turn on my control pad. All right, pads on. I have to press what? Down, A, B, and up. And let's see if that'll pair up. Oh, I just got the double vibrate. Boom, there you go. One Stadia control pad, but my battery's low. I should really charge my thing. And then now, in theory, okay, it's going to be a dick. I was going to say, usually, I'd be then able to control what's going on here with my control pad, but whatever. There you go, instant fail right there. Oh, hey, here you go. There's a pro game, Little Nightmares 2. It's currently free. Let's click that. And I'll claim that as part of my pro. Pro users also get access to more sales. If I wanted to play Little Nightmares right now, I just go like this. There you go. And there's oh look, there's Little Nightmares running. But that's it. That's it. Oh, I don't want to read your safety information. It'll do that every time you launch a game for the first time. I've got a funny feeling the battery in the control pad's about to give out, so it doesn't really matter at the moment. Can I? Yeah. Let's skip some of these. I'm hoping this is A button. There you go. So my control pad is working. I agree. Oh, do I have to scroll down? Yep. Agree. And we'll just leave it on the default. But look, see? This game is best experience with the control pad. Fantastic. It's working. The game is... I know I haven't actually shown you any actual gameplay, but I'm not really interested in Little Nightmares, to be honest with you. I just wanted to, you know, show picking up a game. Yeah, I'd say that was... No, I'll be fair. I'll say that was good. Yeah, like I say, the stuff here is the interface is wobbly at best. We don't want Stadia Pro deals. We wanted Stadia Pro games. Stadia Pro games are the ones, as I say, that you get free every month for subscribing to Stadia Pro. So we'll claim another one. So I think they give you like 2 or 3 every month. And if I wanted to launch as a creator, then I'd just click that. If I want to go back to my game library, I'd click home in the top corner. And I don't know. That's how I've played a bit of Cyberpunk. I've played a bit of Doom on there. You know, as I say, I've played through the entirety of Final Fantasy. If a game doesn't have Pro on it, I've paid for it. If the game has Pro, it was given to me. So, you know, I own a few games on here. Not a huge amount. There are a lot that are from Pro. I've enjoyed using the service, and I recommend folks give it a go. It works for me. I know some people have complained saying that there's latency, the video's not great, blah, blah, even on my really, really epic, amazing connection, it doesn't work. For me, it's been pretty solid. As I say, I've gone through the entirety of Final Fantasy 15. I've streamed playing Samurai Showdown. I've done 1 credit runs on Samurai Showdown's a fighting game, so when I say a 1 credit run, what I mean is that I've gone through from the start of the from the start of the game through to the end boss and beat the end boss, 1 credit. You can lose a round, you can't lose 2 rounds straight because you've lost the match. 1 credit, no retries, beat the end boss. It's fine. It's fine. I understand that I'm sure for some super sensitive mega pro gamers, they're like, oh, I can't play that. But for me, it worked well enough for me to be able to do that. And I mean, there was a time I actually struggled to do that on stuff like the PlayStation. So I'd say that Stadia's input latencies, it's good. It's pretty solid. It's far better than what OnLive's was, which shows how far we have come. Amazon have now launched theirs in the United States, their streaming service called Luna. I don't know what that's like, but apparently that's more of a subscription-based service. You don't have to buy games directly from Amazon to play them on Luna. You can just have like your EA subscription, your Ubisoft subscription, and you play from a list of games that they have on those. But, you know, the technology's neat. And I think more people should try it. My only fear is Google aren't great at keeping services running, even if they're making them money. And I'm not saying that Stadia is making them money, but Google have this thing about going with pretty much everything that they make. So far, with the exception of, well, they didn't make YouTube; they bought YouTube. But you know, with the exception of YouTube, everything they have, they just tend to go, and off it goes. I guess the most terrifying thing, the most damning thing about this is it's a Google product. Use at your own risk. But the control pad's great. I've used this on other stuff. I've used this on. I think have I used this on Steam? I'm sure I've used this on Steam. It's a nice control pad. I think it's a nice control pad. The sticks are pretty solid. The buttons are pretty responsive. It's a nice pad. I managed to get the copy of Cyberpunk that I bought. I managed to get that for something like £20 off, and with it, I got a Google Stadia starter kit, which was a control pad and another Chromecast. So I thought that was a pretty good deal, and Google were even giving away Stadia kits to people who subscribe to YouTube Premium. So I hope the service sticks around for a while, because it is pretty good. I don't want every game streaming service to go the way of the dodo. But whilst it is here, take a crack at it. You know, it does work. As the thing that most people, as I say, are more concerned about versus GeForce Now is that you actually have to buy games from Google. If a game isn't available on Stadia, you just don't play it. Whereas GeForce Now, you might already have the luxury of having, 10, 20, 30, 40 games that are compatible with it. So kind of barrier to entry is it's much lower. It's much easier to just jump in and go, I'm going to try that. But despite what people think, you don't have to pay a subscription to get into Stadia. You just don't. Okay? Pro just gives you access to 4K, some free games every month. Just go in there, find a game that's cheap, pick one up, and have a go. I think there might actually even be some free games on there that you can have a go at. Just have a go, see what you think, and maybe pick up some hardware. You can play with mouse and keyboard, you can play with an Xbox pad, you can really play with whatever you want, as long as you can run the app or launch a Chrome-based browser and job done. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't really know where to go. I just figured I'd kind of show it just to say, look, here's another streaming service you could try. You don't have to have a gaming PC. You don't have to be running Windows. And in fairness, it's a neat technology. It's a neat technology. Look into it. Well, actually don't, because I think most YouTubers are like, it's doomed, it sucks, it doesn't work. Most people on social media think it sucks and they haven't really tried it. All you can really QQ about Stadia, honestly, my only real complaint, not enough games. Not enough games. But hopefully they fix that before Google decide to bow out. With that said, I'm off. Hope you're well, and I'll see you all in the next one. Seriously, give it a go. It's not bad. It really ain't bad. And I like this control pad. I could probably beat someone to death with this.